Hi, good morning. Let's relax, right? Haven't been doing this for a really long time. Okay, so for the next 25 minutes, I would like to share with you the new feature, I would say, but yeah, the new feature of Revit with Twinmotion. When you say new, it's not really that new because this workflow has been surviving for like a few years already. Just the way of the recent year, Autodesk having a collaboration with Epic Games, and they bring the Twinmotion become more appealing and more accessible for our industry. So my name is Mike Chan. I'm a 18 years Revit user, and I'm still using it every day, day by day. Okay. I'm currently as a BIM manager in Andrew Lake Fund. So before I go on my agenda, I would like to share with you a video, which is a demonstration of what Twinmotion can do. Don't worry, not long, just 1 minute. So a big appreciation for Pari. He's a Polish guy, and I admire his work really much. And I asked him for a donation for his work, so I don't need to ask for my client permission. So let's start the agenda. Now we got 22 minutes, and really quick one, just 4 points to go. And we are not going for really deep into the Twinmotion. My idea is just give you a acknowledgement and hope you get you a started point so you will able to explore the Twinmotion yourself. So first of all, and what's Revit and what's a Twinmotion? And I'm pretty sure you guys are already quite familiar with what's Revit, which is a software for design authoring and the joint generation in BIM. The developer is Autodesk, that's why we're here. And the user, the target audience, the target user will be the AEC industry, which is the architect, engineer, and construction field. And Twinmotion is, if you heard of it, or if you haven't heard of it, which is a software for a real-time visualization. The developer is Epic Games. And the user is not only for architecture, but also for product design. So what the benefits of using Twinmotion? The big benefits is come in is the real-time visualization. The big point of it is you can see the changes immediately, and you can make the decision immediately. That is the big benefits of using real-time visualization. And also they will, if you're doing a render before, then you may possibly heard about a term called PBR, which is a physical based rendering, which is a technology using an image and combination of image to mimic the interaction of light. So when you see it, it's more appealing like simulate the reality of the appearance. And in Twinmotion, they come with 2 modes. One is called path tracing. Don't be scared about the word. Basically, it's just really similar to ray tracing, which is a more accurate calculation about like how do we add materials, so your eye will receive it more realistic. And the other one called raster render, which is a less accurate lighting, but it's really also a acceptable quality for visualization. And the benefits of using Twinmotion is they can produce not only still render image, they also able to produce an animation video, what you've seen before, and a VR if you've got the goggle. And also what is surprisingly is a presentation package. In a short form of this is you are able to pack the whole model at a single self-executive file, including you can add including some still images, some still rendering images and videos, and then you send the whole thing to your client, and then open it. They can open it and they can walk around inside your model, inside your work, to experience what you're trying to demonstrate to them. And in the design studio, like what I do, I also use this for our design team. So after a rendering mapping thing, and just send the whole thing to them and say, hey, this is what the end result, and walk by yourself. Okay, and I really like that, and that's why I choose Twinmotion, is they can combine different sources of geometry and information, such as Revit, 3D Max, ArchiCAD, SketchUp, Rhino, and Blender. So basically, you can do it. You can do the rendering come from all sorts of information. And I understand that some of the rendering engine, they use the plugin. So the benefits of doing Twinmotion rather than plug-in is you have a chance to not running two applications at the same time, which is really computer resource exhausting, I would say, and not all the computer can work with that. Okay, and also for the user interface, I mean, when we're doing the design Revit, we will really focusing on the building, the object inside, or the object itself. But when you try to get some really good rendering or some animation for your presentation, the background, the atmosphere, is also really important. And Twinmotion will give you a really easy access to build up your lighting, atmosphere, vegetation. You can paint the whole mountain with tree and greenery really quick. Okay, and also vehicle or some character, they can walk around, look more realistic. And also some special effect like snow, rain. Also they got force and like smoke and fire. So you can build all those simulation, so make your scene more lively. And also, its other advantage is they can potentially take your model to another application called Unreal Engine, which you can leverage a more advanced feature and advanced outcome, more appealing outcome. And if you don't know what Unreal Engine is Unreal Engine is a rendering engine, and the design for it, the use is for gaming development, and for CG animation. Like, for example, in game, I'm not quite sure you guys do in game, but I do. So like the Metric Awakens and the Fortnite, they all build, those are just a sample of using Twinmotion to build the scene. And if you're in a movie, then they used it in a Star Wars, they use it in Rogue One and the Rise of Skywalker. So you can see the engine is, I mean, if you see the movie before, and you will able to observe the quality of the engine are quite advanced and quite attractive. So after all the introduction, then we come down to the core of it, is how are you able to connect Revit and Twinmotion. And first of all, once again, thanks for the collaboration between Autodesk and Epic Game. Twinmotion is not free trial, a fee, so it's free for you to use. All right, so not trial, free for you. All right, so you got two ways to access. Well, if you want to get the free version, you got only one way to access it. Is you go for the Autodesk account, I mean, if you have it, you can just search Twinmotion, and then it will pop up a download access. You can download it. The size is a bit big, like close to 16 gig, but worth it. Don't worry, right? But if you don't have the access of this, you can ask for IT to download it and install it for you. And after that, then you under the inside Revit, under the View tab, you will see a new icon called Twinmotion, and that is where your starting point will be. And that's installation or that installation workflow are only applicable on Revit 2023.1. Right? That is the workflow for that specific version and possibly onward. Okay, I hope they don't remove it. And the next workflow you can install it is to if you're using a previous version of it, you still can download the latest version from what I told you before is the Twinmotion for Revit, that one. And after that, you need to go to the Twinmotion website and download their plugin. There is the website link as shown. And you download the browser, you will find yourself, not only for Revit, they got, I think about 16 or 15, I can't exactly remember the number, the plugin for different applications. Like they got a plugin for SketchUp, they got a plugin for Blender, they got plugin for Vinyl, they got plugin for something I don't even know. All right, but the good thing is you can download the plugin, and then you can link up all the sources. If you go for this version, then you install it, and you will find that in Revit, you will find a new tab called Datasmith. And under it, you will see the command are pretty similar to the previous before you using 2022. Okay, after installed the application, then is get into the exercise, is how to get the data from Revit to Twinmotion. There is two methods to do. I find, from experience, I find that is more stable. In a teamwork environment is much more suitable. We call it collection model with Datasmith. So the starting point will be from Revit. You go for the Datasmith tab, or if you're using the 2003, you will go to the View and Twinmotion, and then you will still find export to Datasmith file. And after that, you just need to get the directory. So you give it a name, then they will export the thing. And in the Twinmotion, you will need to do is say import. Okay, when you get import, they will pop up a dialog, and then you choose the geometry, and then you choose the file name. Of course, you go to the directory. And one thing you need to take into concern is the collect. The choosing, usually, most of the time I do is keep hierarchy. What this means is they will keep exact hierarchy of what Revit category does. All right, so they got other two. One is count by material, and the other one is don't count anything, bind into all in one. But I don't know why people will do that. Maybe just only doing for background. I usually use the keep hierarchy, so I can keep my mindset exactly the same way of doing in Revit, so easy for me to find. And also one thing worth for mentioning is the substitution table, which is really down below of the import. I'm not going to go for this because if I go for this, I will need another 30 minutes. All right, but you can go on internet. You will find a tutorial to explain to you what exactly it does. For the first initial model, you don't need it. But when you're doing a replacement model or update of your model for carry on your work, yeah, that is really handy. Okay, because they will keep what you assigned the replaced material in Twinmotion, and they will automatically replace it when next time you upload or sync the model to the Twinmotion, so you don't have to redo all the material assigning work. Okay, when you click the import, then you will see the in Twinmotion you will see the Datasmith, and down below you will have your imported file name. Okay, I cross it out because I don't want to show. Okay. And you will got the sync button, okay, with the arrow pointing down. Okay, what this does is already told you is you're not only importing once, because in our work usually it's update, update, and update infinity. So if we got the update, you just need to export and replace the SIM file, the data image file at the SIM location, and then you click the sync, you click the sync button, and then they read the update. So your Twinmotion scene content will get updated. So that is quite handy and quite suitable for our daily work. And this method, you got advantage of it is you don't need to run two software at the same time, because Revit itself is quite intensive already, and Twinmotion is even more intensive. So not every computer can run in two at the same time. Then you need to, you can do this method, so you can, well, if you're not lucky enough, then you need to like export and close and reopen it, okay? And also this method is universal. So I show you in Revit, it do it this way, but if you're using in SketchUp, exactly same process. So it's just only one way to doing it. It's really simple, and they're stable. When I say stable, the main reason for it is if you're using other method later I'll show you is they will need to keep a 3D view, always it is 3D view. So if you sync it wrongly, then you will ruin your content in Twinmotion and then you need to redo it again. So that's why stabling, if you recognize it, you exported the wrong view, it's no problem, we just don't import it. Then you need to you just only need to re-export it again, then it will be fine. And the disadvantage of it is the involve exporting. Maybe people saying exporting is an old technology or no method of doing it, then well, that's that. This disadvantage of it. And the other method, you can collect the content from Revit to Twinmotion is what we call direct link. And the process is actually reverse. So you go first, you need to go for the Twinmotion and ask for the import. And this time you choose the direct link. So you click on it, you choose if you got the Revit open, then they will automatically detect which Revit model should be collecting. And also keep it, if the collab is, keep it a hierarchy, and then click import. And then down to the import list, you will see the icon, which is Revit, and your file name will be underneath. And also, sometime on the left corner, they will have a broken link, but don't worry, we can fix it. Then now you go for the Revit, and first hit is you hit collection, and they will detect the collection. Usually the automatic does, but just for safety reason, then you just click it. Nothing else you need to do, just click it, close it, that's it. And then the next button you click is synchronization. So you sync it. When you sync, it takes some time. When you sync it, and you will see the import in Twinmotion, the icon on the left top corner will disappear, which means it's synced. And basically you don't need to see the corner, you already see the content inside the model, so definitely you are successfully imported the content. Okay, the advantage of this method is you can see the changes instantly. Every time you sync it, every time they reload it. The disadvantage of it, as I said before, this computer need to run two programs at the same time. And also it's required to sync exactly the same 3D view. When you're doing it at night, you lose some concentration, you do a mistake, then, well, sorry, you need to close the Twinmotion and close the Revit and restart everything again. That's the only way to fix it. Okay? So, which way you prefer is up to you, both way work. Okay, so, still got 6 minutes. At the end, just speaking from experience and a suggestion when you're using Twinmotion, first, you need quite a decent GPU with a huge VRAM. Ideally, you would like to find a GPU, a graphic card, which is performing ray tracing better. So in the current market, I think if you have a little computer knowledge about video card, then usually just only two brands. One starts with A, one starts with N, and I usually prefer the N one because the ray tracing is better. All right, and I suggest you have a dedicated computer for the rendering workload, because that will free up your time when doing render, and you can do some work on the other side or updating. Otherwise, your computer is got frozen. I mean, yeah, you can't touch it because they're rendering it. All right, And also you need to prepare to learn something new, which is not really common in BIM industry, is material shader. So you need to learn something, what is normal map, what's basically some people call it bump map, not dump map, and a rough map, that kind of thing. You need to know what it is, how to use it, just understand it. That's free access example and tutorial in YouTube, really easy to find. And also you need to prepare yourself with some basic photograph knowledge, like what is depth of field, what is focal length, what is aperture, what is lens filter, blah, blah, that kind of thing. Because you need that to adjust the scene, so you will get a much better quality outcome. And the other technology is like path tracing. Don't go crazy for it, okay? You need to take the balance between the sample purposeful and the bouncing. Basically what it does is for path tracing, similar to ray tracing, they are actually in a scene, they got a certain amount of light point, they will be bouncing back. So the more sample you put on, the more light bounce the more point sample you will have, and the more bouncing you will do, the scene is much more accurate and lighter, okay? But which means you got the computer to calculate much heavier, then will take some time, okay? And that really depends on your computer. On the one side sim image, one side you got a raster image, and the other one called a path tracing, and there are 80 time differences. So let's say if you're doing on the raster, you got 1 minute, and then you do the path tracing, possibly got 80 minutes to run. So just prepare for it, okay? And in the animation, if you choose animation with the path tracing, then turn off the denoising, all right? Because in the system, if you take on if you still image, you will run on denoising. They will try to, you can say blurring out the lighting effect, because the point, the light spot, you will got sharp edge. So the denoising, they will remove those edge. But if you do it on animation, there will be a difficulty because the removing denoising are random. And if you got the sequencing scene one by one, you will see what they call artifacts. Is sometimes this one is white and suddenly become black, darker. So it's just not appealing. So you rather turn it off, all right? And you're bouncing up the light sample, and the bouncing you don't have to, okay? You just bouncing more the light sample you need to take into account, okay? And the next is my personal feeling. Understand when to let go, all right? I always just telling myself I'm only doing the design impression. I'm not doing a Hollywood CG masterpiece, so don't crazy on it. I understand it that every hour you spend on it, you will get better result, okay? But you're exhausting yourself and you just kill yourself, all right? So keep that in mind, let it go up to a certain standard. And prepare some good coffee, energy drink, and cup noodles. If you work on it, you know what I mean. Okay, I can't stay home in late night in the office. It's just trying to get things better and get things better. Prepare for it, okay? Okay, and also it's like think wisely what the intention of the render and the animation you want to produce. What is the story you want to tell? What is the focus point you want to tell? All right, it's not blindfoldly just play the camera on the path and try to get some good result. I tell you, no, you won't get it. Okay, so plan it wisely, and pay some respect to and appreciation to the guy who doing the low, okay, because there's a lot of effort involved, and they're burning their life for it. Okay, so yeah, really, some respect and appreciation will be really helpful. Okay, and also plan for the budget. Okay, prepare for it. That kind of work is not press a button, you will get the result done. You're burning light and date to get it. So if you don't have a budget for it, don't ask for it.